Boom. Awesome. All right, guys, it's officially 8:35 on this beautiful Wednesday morning, April 26th. I am coming to you alive, excited, full of energy, full of passion, and as always, coming to you full of gratitude on this amazing morning. You guys, I couldn't be more stoked about what's ahead for each of you, because not only do we have Christina here, who's going to do a high-level market update. She's going to share with you some thoughts. We're going to talk about the elephant in the room. You guys have seen some press recently, so we're going to talk about those things. And directly after that, we have Jairek Robbins, who happens to be Tony Robbins' son, who is the CEO and Chief Strategy Officer for Success Enterprises, who's going to come on and also be a guest. So you guys, I'm stoked. Never have we had two guests in one session, so I'm really pumped about today. Christina, thank you for being here. I'm going to have somebody bring us out on the field today, as always. Now, Joellen, I think you started us out, so I'm actually going to have you finish up that sentiment. You're going to bring the team out on the field, share with us the quote that maybe some people missed as they were getting into the room. So, Joellen, I'm going to turn the mic over to you to bring the team out on the field. So, Joellen, hit us again.
Good morning, my amazing teammates. I love you all. And Christina, good morning. Can't wait to hear you drop some nuggets on us today. Yeah, basically the motto, the words, just what we need to go for today and in this market is go for no, but stay for yes. Make the calls, knock the doors, do the open houses, get as many no's as you can so you can get that yes.
I love it. And you know what, Joellen, you could feel it. You could feel it in your spirit. You could see it in your face. You could feel the energy. So I absolutely love it. Will I be seeing you today in Sacramento?
I'm trying. My girl has softball and my husband had to go to Chico, so I'm trying to work it out.
All right, bring them all. So let's get it. Absolutely. I appreciate that sentiment. You guys, I want to put some things into perspective before I turn the mic over to Christina. I was doing a lot of thought this morning, and I just want you guys to think about this at a very high level, but it's easy. Think about it this way. We're always thinking about, well, what can I do? What should I do? And I want you to put your next 6 months into a true perspective. And just think about this with me and stay with me for a moment. I'm going to break this down and do some math for you. Imagine if you prospected 2 hours a day for the next 6 months. And so you're working 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. So for the 6 months, you have prospected a minimum of 240 hours. So stay with me. Say you did 1 hour of follow-up every single day for the next 6 months. You work 5 days a week. That's 120 hours worth of follow-up. Say you set one appointment a day. That's literally 120 appointments that you've set. You did one social post a day. You did one long form post a week, which is 24, and you track your behaviors over the next 6 months. Where do you think your business would be? If you literally stuck to something that was that simple, where would your business be in 6 months from now? So I want to share that with you. Somebody shared that with me. I was like, that's simple. That's easy. I want to give that to the team. I want to give that to the group. Also, I want to encourage everyone. And I want to send a shout out to Cortez. I was inspired by a video that he reposted. I want everyone to take a moment to just get organized. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to overhaul your entire house, but check this out. How many of you have ever gone and detailed your car, you cleaned your car, and when you get into it, ooh, you feel good, right? How many of you go into your closet, you clean out your closet, you organize it, now you have all your shirts, all your pants, all in the same section, everything looks good, your hoodies, like it feels good, right? Whether it's your office, whether it is your kids' room, wherever it is, I promise you, find somewhere in your life that you can truly organize. And I promise you, you're going to feel better about things. You're going to feel like you have more control, because when you work and you live and things are hectic and things are in disarray, what happens is that you are in disarray. And oftentimes we go to try to find places that are organized because it makes us feel better. Create some of that organization for yourself. Give your sense of, man, I feel really good. I'm in control of this. But you guys have to take a moment just to get organized. Last week, I did my entire garage. There was shit that was just put in the middle of the garage from Christmas, right? They took all the stuff down. My lady put all the bins right in the middle, and it was driving me wild that I didn't have a garage. Now, I've gone in the garage probably 10 times in this past just to look. I don't have anything to put in there, but just to look. So I want to encourage everybody to take something in their life and just get it organized. Maybe it's you start with your workspace. Maybe you're that person that has 20 stacks of papers that you've been trying to get organized and all your bills, and they're just hovered around you. But right here in your little part of the screen, it looks really clean. But everywhere around you is a fucking mess. I want to encourage everybody to just spend a moment getting organized. That's my sentiment. Before I pass the mic over to Christina, Jess Bling, you had your hand up. What was your contribution? Let me turn the mic over to you for a moment.
This is all good stuff. I love this ripple effect. I was up till almost 2 a.m. My husband and I have decided that in order to take our marriage to the next step and to be able to invest in our future, because a lot of couples don't do this, we don't have joint accounts. All of our stuff is separate. And I don't know what he has going on, and he don't know what I got going on. We've been married 11 years, together 13. So we were both up last night till almost 2 a.m. putting together a spreadsheet of here's, I don't want to say all because it's not hella, but like here's all of our debt, here are all of our bills. And it's now on a shared sheet that we both have. And we are starting a new savings account together and a new, what's the interest savings account. So that way we can start putting that in order for our next property together. So listen, oh girl, I'm not worried about getting on his account. He needs to be worried about getting on mine. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. We both do well for ourselves, but I just wanted to share that because that type of organization brings so much clarity and builds so much intimacy with your partner. At one point we did, but now just consistently, we know that to go to the next chapter in our marriage and to grow the way that we need to, these are the things to get organized. So thank y'all so much.
I love that. And you know what? So she took it from a completely different level of organization. So you guys, my sentiment for each of you today is spend some time getting organized, because you will feel like you have more control in your life, and you'll feel like, damn, when you're driving your car, I don't care if you drive a bucket. If that bucket is clean and it's detailed and everything looks good while you're in your little vessel, it feels super, super good because it is clean and you're in control of that. So get organized. I'm actually going to turn the mic over to Christina. Christina, here's what I love about you. I love how you put messages across in a way that we can all understand in layman's terms, right? In layman's terms. I appreciate that you show up on social media. And if anyone is ever going to be a guest on here, they have to be on social media. And you do a really good job in bringing our team together in East Contra Costa County. And so mad love and respect for you. So just want to turn the mic over to you. Let's do a high level market update and hopefully have some time for some questions before we get to Jairek Robbins. So Christina, let's go.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for having me. I love talking to you guys. And really, I'm going to go from where you were talking in regards to being organized and talking about the elephant in the room, these LLPAs, you know, clients contacting us and even realtors coming and saying, what is this going on? You know, all of a sudden, if I have a lower credit score, I'm going to be able to get, you know, a better rate in mortgage insurance. And guys, it's not the case. I know a lot of lenders out there, we've been trying to educate you about it. And I want to let you guys know that it really is clickbait. There's been changes that were put into the market probably a couple months ago. And so when these came into effect, it really is basically making a buyer, for example, if a client had a credit score of 740 to 800, their pricing and adjustments were all the same. Now it's just added more brackets to that. So now if you have a credit score of, let's say 800 versus 740, that 800 buyer is going to get better pricing and better adjustments now. Now, when it comes to the lower credit scores, the adjustments have just been basically shortened. So where they were getting a lot of hits in their pricing or in their mortgage insurance, it's just been adjusted and, you know, made smaller, not taxed as much to encourage homeownership. However, one thing to keep in mind is if a client, for example, has a credit score of, let's say 620, 640, where these adjustments have been shortened, a lender 9 times out of 10, including myself, will not be putting a borrower in a conventional loan. The reason being is because FHA loans do not have these price adjustments at all. And an FHA loan has lower mortgage insurance, which, as we all saw, got reduced, and interest rates are lower on FHA. So if I were to do a comparison with a client with a credit score of 640 going conventional versus going FHA, it's going to be a better deal going FHA anyways. So do you guys all follow that? So ultimately, you know, if clients coming to you and say, hey, I saw on the news, you know, now if I don't have good credit, I can go get a conventional loan. That's not it. Ultimately, we are still rewarding clients that have higher credit scores. You're still going to get that better pricing. One thing though is with these price adjustments, it does not apply to a home ready program. And some of you out there that do use me as a preferred lender, I've been really trying to push this home ready. Now, home ready is a 3% down payment. However, there are income limits. So home ready, for example, Contra Costa County, you cannot have an income over $120,880. So $120,880 and below, a buyer can qualify for a home ready loan program, and they don't have any of these price adjustments to them. So when favoring, you know, first-time home buyers, buyers that have 3% down, maybe don't have the best credit, but maybe they're in that mid 600 range, home ready, if they can, it's a great program. Otherwise, ultimately, a lender is going to be putting you in an FHA loan. So that's something just to keep in mind in this market. What I've been seeing, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have been seeing, is the multiple offers. So myself as a lender, lenders that you are working with, really I encourage talking to listing agents. I know we all talk about it. I know, you know, having the lender talk to listing agent, but having that open communication in this market, whether a client be doing conventional or FHA, should still be fighting for your client. I know a lot of times people will think and assume an FHA loan, you know, may not have as qualified of a buyer as someone who's conventional. But I'll be honest with you. I send my files, 9 out of 10 of my pre-approvals are going to underwriting. I'm getting that stamp of approval. An FHA buyer, I can talk to a listing agent and tell them that my FHA buyer is just as strong. You know, maybe it's just they're getting a better payment than going conventional, especially with these LLPAs that have been added. So communication is key. I think just talking, having that open communication with the listing agent, making sure you're including your lender with your offer. I tell my realtors, please CC me on that offer email. Send me the listing agent's contact information. I love to reach out to them and just educate them on our client, tell them the process of where we're at in the pre-approval stages. So a lot of those terms, especially right now, I think are really setting at least my clients apart that I'm finding, and the feedback I'm getting from realtors, and setting your offer apart from the rest. I just got into contract with one of my clients, and the property received over 18 offers, including cash. And my client's offer won over the others just because of communication and terms. Being fully underwritten is huge right now. I'm seeing a lot of larger earnest money deposits being put into place. Crazy enough, we're seeing contingencies going in off the back being removed again. But little things like that, I feel really are setting ourselves apart from the rest. Let me think here. What else was I going to bring up too? Another thing I'm also seeing, I would say, is when it comes to ordering rush appraisals, a lot of us right now, lenders in this market, are ordering rush appraisals. And if a client, letting them know ahead of time, you're going to have the rush fee added on there. But letting the client know, hey, we're going to get this appraisal done in 4 to 5 days. There's going to be an extra $100 on there. Are you okay with that? Every client's always going to say yes, to make sure we're getting those things done quickly. And that can also be done on an FHA loan. So it really doesn't make sense whether it's, it doesn't make a difference whether it's a conventional loan or an FHA. We're still able to make that happen. There's really no difference in that turn time.
So I had a couple questions. So it seems to be, as of late, that we're hearing less and less about the conversation about interest rates, right? If we were to go back 60 days ago, everyone was in this frenzy of, oh my God, interest rates, right? Now the conversation is more LLPA and people not understanding it. So you can obviously see that it's like moths to a flame. Like it's like headlines, like so many people like swarm over headlines. Yeah. And so when you're thinking about interest rates right now, where we are, projections as we head into our busier months, what are some thoughts that you have and sentiment about where you see interest rates going based on where we're at right now in the market?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's something I wanted to talk about too, is clients now, they're not really, they'll ask, hey, what are interest rates? They'll kind of pop up to them, but really the conversation has been, what is my monthly payment going to be? And I think that is huge right now. And having the conversation with clients is, what is your payment comfortability? And that's always what I ask, because I tell clients, fall in love with the payment before you fall in love with the house. You may be approved at, let's say, 800,000, but you're not going to probably like that payment. You may not like that payment at 800,000, and maybe you like the payment closer to 650 or 700,000. So clients really are focusing more towards what is that mortgage payment going to be versus the rate. And that's why sometimes, a lot of times, I don't talk about rates with clients as much, because to them, it's, what do I need to do to get into a home? What is my out of pocket? What is my monthly payment? And what is it going to do what do I need to do to make it happen? And so I like gearing the conversation that way with them. Rates, they've been like a roller coaster. I have to say, what has been a saving grace for my team is our pricing special, which I've talked about, which on conventional loans, we started this back in, I want to say February, and we've just continued it on, where we're doing 1% of the loan amount and a lender credit to buy down the interest rate. That has really been keeping rates for us under 7%. But in a lot of cases, they've been going, to that 7% and going down. Rumor has it they may not be going down like we were hoping in May, but I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed they are. I don't know. My personal opinion, rumor has been that it may peak in 2 weeks a little bit, and it may go up the 25 basis points. But right now, I would say if they do go up those 25 basis points, touch base with your pre-approvals, have your lender rerun that pricing, especially if you're at that max purchase price already in ratios. But we can still buy down the rate a little bit to still make it work. If you're getting seller credits, maybe if the client, instead of using that seller credit for closing costs, you use that seller credit to actually buy down the rate. So this way, you're not having to reduce the purchase price to make it happen. You're able to still use that credit to buy down the rate and stay at that loan pre-approval amount. So that would be one thing I would definitely suggest doing.
So 2 questions here, and you guys, I'll open it up to you guys for questions. Feel free to put your hands up. But when we think about the 2-1 buy down, if you were just look back, let's say 2 months, 3 months, let's go 3 months. From the percentage of people that have actually qualified for a loan, what has been the percentage of people that have actually bought down their rate? Is it as high as we think, or is it actually lower than we think from your vantage point?
I haven't done as many of the 2-1 buy down. I do the permanent buy down. It's a lot cheaper. Clients, when you tell a client, hey, your payment's going to be this for 1 year, and then it's going to go up this year 2, and then at year 3, it's going to be this. That as a first-time home buyer, they're like, oh gosh, they just think adjustable mortgages, and they think of, and they're like, oh my gosh, what? How? It's going to keep going up, and then it's going to go to that. Well, what if interest rates don't go down and I can't refinance? And so if I tell them, hey, if we spend, let's say $5,000, $4,000, whatever it may be, to buy down your interest rate to make it a little more comfortable for 30 years until you are able to refinance, rates go down, let's say a year, are you okay with that? You comfortable with that? And they all say yes. They're like, I'd rather keep my payment at this, so that this way, until rates go down to make it beneficial for me to refinance, then I will. A lot of clients, I feel, go that route. Now with the 2-1 buy down, if you refinance before those 2 years, that money in that pot for the buy down will be put towards paying down your principal. But in my experience with my clients, they don't like that route. They don't feel confident and comfortable. They're already nervous buying a home. They're already nervous looking at this higher rate environment. They really prefer the permanent buy down. So I would say almost all of my deals, we're buying down the rate a smudge.
Okay, cool. Let's go to the chat really quick. Can you give an example of cost to buy down the rate by, say, 0.25, and what the impact that makes on a monthly payment?
Yeah, so every day those costs do change. Sometimes 0.25 can make a big difference. I would say when you're buying down the rate by 0.25, you're probably looking at it. Sometimes it could be maybe 20 bucks. Maybe, depending on the loan amount. So usually I'll try to put in a lender credit in there to buy down that rate with you. for it to make sense. So sometimes it's not a whole lot of a difference by 2.5. A lot of clients will usually put in there a couple $1,000s to really make it count.
Good stuff. Joellen, you had your hand up. What was your thought, question, contribution?
Yeah, I can attest to Christina's service and everything that she does. She did our loan for our home, and we did a permanent buy down, and she did get her company to give some credits to help us buy that. But not only that, we actually were able to write that off. So on our taxes, we got a big chunk of money back for the permanent buy down and closing costs. And there's another thing that I want to contribute with working with Christina. She will get on the phone and get creative with you. She will help you think outside of the box, how to save it, how to best work it, so that you're not just on your own trying to figure out, well, what can I do here? She'll actually give you ideas and then get on the phone with the client. So that's really nice.
Thank you. Yeah,
Good
I
stuff.
think I like to really show the example to the client, so that this way, them clients buying a home is a stressful process, and no matter what. However, if I can provide some feedback, some reassurance, especially when it comes to the monthly aspect of it, it really, when clients see that, they'll be online and looking at these LPAs and they're looking at the temporary buy down, and to them, it just becomes very overwhelming. Versus if we sit there and say, hey, what's your payment comfortability? All right, here are a couple options, and just getting straight to it and kind of letting their mind wander when it comes to looking at all these things online and just getting really, consumed over it.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. I believe that all of us as real estate professionals have to be like that compass and that true north, because they're going to get misdirected, and we have to always be the one to bring them back home. And so I love that. You guys, we have some time for a few questions. Let's go through this. Alejandra Whalen, what is your question? Rapid fire. Let's hear from you.
I'm sorry, I was not going to say a question. I was just going to point what Joellen say about Christina. She's very quick. She has a great communication with the listing agent. Like she was talking about the property we just went with 18 offers, and what made our offer win. Actually, I just had a conversation with the listing agent yesterday, and she was telling me why she chose our offer. And she said, because you showed me good communication, Christina showed good communication, and the clarity of everything. So it was a great feedback. So I just wanted to share that with you all. Christina is like on point, and she's very fast to close.
Love it. Love it. Obviously, people are really big fans of what you do and how you contribute to that. So other than giving Christina her praise, do you guys have any thoughts or questions about the market right now? And listen, Jeff always says, give the flowers when someone can smell them, or I don't know if I'm saying that right. So people are giving you your flowers right now. But Otis White, let's hear from you.
Oh yeah, you got to give her flowers. She literally helped me since day one. Like since I was a pup, she was there for me, and she never makes you or the client feel dumb, no matter how. I mean, like shit that it just don't make sense, and you're gonna make yourself look like ass. She never makes you feel that. So big ups to Christina, and the fact that she used to be a realtor, she can help you and she can understand things in ways that I'm pretty sure not too many other lenders could. So I'm very thankful. She always be my preferred lender, just because she's always willing to give something to get somebody's business and show. As far as the market, I would like to know what Christina thinks, and I mean everybody else thinks too, with the sentiment that we were talking about. Nobody really cares about rates. Like, what is going to be your rebuttal? Like, what are you going to be your feedbacks where you think you're going to be strong enough to secure the client and get them to the finish line with the market we're in right now, where there's going to be waves of people coming in, even more competition. So if you're frustrated right now, what are you going to do to stop that frustration with yourself? Because a client can smell that shit on you. So what are you going to do to separate yourself and be ready for the next wave of people, the next wave of circumstances coming your way in this changing market?
Is that a Christina question, or is that a group question, brother?
For if Christina, from her lender standpoint, and I guess if we could open it up to everybody else.
Yeah,
yes.
I would say, just like really quick, encouraging the client of, what is it we can do to make you win the offer, and terms. I know I talk about it all the time with you guys, is making that offer look just as attractive and as close to compete with a cash buyer. My mind is always looking at how is my client's offer going to look compared to a cash buyer? What can we sweeten and tighten up to make it look that much more attractive?
I love it. And Christina, I just had a quick question. I've had this scenario in the past with the client, but since we're getting back into an era of non-contingent offers, and say worst case scenario comes back and there is a shortfall in an appraisal. Let's just say there's a $20, $30, $40, $50,000 shortfall in an appraisal. Are you, depending on their debt to income ratio, able to fix that into their payment? And is that something that you've done in the past?
No, we have had success with appraisal rebuttals. So really going back and pulling comps. I've done that. Appraisers, you know, really putting together a good package deal to make that happen. And also going back to, I remember Dominique and I think this was right before she was with Team Fast. We had done a seminar and just talking about what to do when you know you're going to have an appraiser appraise your property, meeting the appraiser, coming with a really good package to provide the information, as many comps and supporting documentation to help support the value as much as you can.
Beautiful. I love it. So we got time for one more. Let's go to Cynthia, and then we're going to shift gears. Cynthia, I know you're driving. Hopefully we get good audio.
I'll turn that off so that it's better audio. I super appreciate this, Christina. Thank you so much. My question is, how can we explain in less than 2 sentences to a consumer what a 2-1 buy down is and why it would be beneficial to them?
With the 2-1 buy down, usually it's coming from a seller credit, and they're putting this money in a pot that for the first, and you can do a 2-1 or a 3-1, but 2 years or 3 years. You're putting this money in a pot, and the money from that pot every month is coming to pay down that mortgage temporarily for the year 1 and then year 2. So you know how you have your escrow account of taxes and insurance, and every month you're paying, it's going in that pot. Well, that credit, that seller credit towards that temporary buy down is also going to go in a pot, and you'll see it on the mortgage statement. Then every month that first year, that's going to go towards that payment. So the client, let's say you're doing a 2-1 buy down, and that first year your payment's going to be $1,000 less because of that temporary buy down. So instead of a $3,000 mortgage, that first year your mortgage is going to be $2,000. That difference of that $1,000 is going to come from the temporary buy down pot every month. So the client's not having to pay it. It's coming from that credit. Does that make sense? Oh, you kind of got. Could you try my phone? Does that make sense? So that temporary buy down?
Thank you so much.
Pot. Yeah, it's coming from that pot the first year, then the second year, and then basically it's going to run out of funds, so that by that third year you're paying that full payment. However, if a client refinances before that 3 year, the money left in that pot that's unused, that will go down towards paying their principal when they refinance. So it won't go wasted. It will go towards that.
Awesome. We actually do got time for one more. Let's go to Joellen. You had your hand up. Let's hear from you.
I just wanted to kind of point out, not so much as giving her flowers, but kind of talking about the things that other agents might not know or understand, because those are things that we've all experienced and have gone through with Christina. But not only that, she also is very forward thinking, and she actually goes and looks at the approvals and make sure that they're up to date with their interest rates. Instead of us having to reach out to her, she actually does that. Like, that's part of her process, which is really good. So I just wanted to say that.
Love it. Love it. Well, Christina, I want to thank you. Make sure to drop your Instagram handle down below. That way everyone can connect with you guys. And as always, we're going to continue to do these sessions. We're actually going to shift gears. We have another special guest on the line today, Jairek Robbins. Thank you for being here, brother. So happy to have a little bit of your time. Once again, you guys, Jairek Robbins is the CEO and Chief Strategy Officer for Success Enterprises, and he's been a huge contributor in the coaching space. Obviously, he has a huge lineage of human development, and I'm really excited for him to share some thoughts and sentiment with us today. So, Jairek, great to have you, my man. The floor is yours. If you need to share the screen, share your screen, let me know. But Jairek Robbins, without further ado, let me introduce you, big dog. Thank you for being here. And this is Team Fast and some guests. You are muted right now, though. You're still
that
muted.
was the
There you
secret
are.
to ultimate success in life. I hope you all got it. I'm glad I could share it. And anyways, take it from there. So first off, I'll correct that. I'm not the CEO. That's Amy Somerville. Just to make sure she has that. I'm in transition at the moment out of chief strategy officer and president, and I'm moving over to a board of advisors for success so I can get back to the things I'm doing in the world. But I'm here for a little bit longer, and I would love to know, first off, for those of you driving, thank you for your focus on the road. For those of you sitting with notepads, you look sharp and ready. Nice to see you all. I'd love to know in the comment box real quick, what are you currently working on? What are you focused on? What's the most important thing in your world right now? And I'm so curious to hear what you're focused on. I see a little one out there. Hi, friend. What are you focused on right now? What's important to you? Becoming your best self, says Jeff. Awesome. Personal organization so I can better focus on my business. Buying a house for ourselves. Congratulations, Dan. Personal development, human development. Bringing new qualified clients and referral sources. Consistency, conversion, attraction. Balance, said Jocelyn, with kids and business. Growing into my purpose, personal development. Awesome. What's the one thing, if you could accomplish by the end of this year, that would make you incredibly proud? Meaning, if you were to fast forward to December 31st and look back and go, wow, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I was able to accomplish that. What would be the one thing, if you were able to accomplish, would really just blow your mind? 300,000 in gross commission income, 24 transactions, purchase an investment property, having a steady business and consistency, 15 plus deals, master work-life balance, replace my income from previous jobs, awesome, discipline at work, 1.2 billion, 700 team members, excellent presentation, organization and business growth, 25 million, awesome, 1,500 prospects, 10 deals, pay off personal debt. So I want to give you all a formula to see if this might help. The one thing, I think it was Jocelyn that said that work-life balance, if I could give you a different analogy, one of my friends told me, if you're trying to balance something, you're putting two things in opposition of each other, and then you're trying to constantly force the balance back and forth to try to get it even or something like that. He said, what if you thought of the concept as an orchestra? And if an orchestra played in balance, it would sound like just horrible. I mean, imagine the drums in balance with the horns, in balance with the flutes, in balance with the winds. Like it wouldn't sound good if all played at the exact same balance as each other. He said, what if you thought of life as harmony? Sometimes the woodwinds come in, sometimes the drums come in, sometimes the flutes come in, sometimes the sax comes in. At different times, different things play slightly louder than the other, but all of them stay in harmony to ensure that the music sounds beautiful. And what if the music we were trying to play was the music of our life? And at different moments, we have different harmonic focuses, therefore different elements that might be slightly louder than the other, but all of them play their part, and all of them play their part as loud as they need to in the moment when they're supposed to shine. And I went, damn, that feels good. Like I just took a deep breath and that kind of settled into my soul. And I went, my God, that feels so much better than putting the most important parts of my life in opposition of each other constantly, trying to battle over which one's most important right now. Instead, I said, what if I could get a harmonic tune going with my life, and each piece of my life will play its role when it's supposed to shine? And there's different stages of life, and at every stage of life, there's a different piece of my life that might be a little louder. And I'm going to enjoy maximizing that piece's brilliance and shine when it's time for that piece to shine. And I'm not going to fight with it. I mean, imagine it's time for the drums, and we're like, shut up, drums, I'm trying to play the sax. It's like, no, that's the time for the drums to shine. Beat them away, make them loud. Do what's supposed to happen in that moment. And so what might make sense is figuring out at this stage of life, what part of your life needs to be the loudest. And if any of you watched there was a comedian and I forget his name. He talked about playing the tambourine. He says, sometimes none of us want to be the tambourine in a band, the person in the background playing the tambourine. But he said, sometimes when it's your time, Chris Rock, there it is. When it's your time to play the tambourine, you need to play that tambourine like your heart and life depends on it. Sometimes playing the backup singer and singing as loud as humanly possible when it's your time is just as important as being the lead singer. And he goes, not all of us feel that way, though. All of us can't wait to be the lead singer in our band. And sometimes when you're handed the tambourine, you need to play that tambourine with so much heart and soul that it makes the band amazing. And I was like, isn't that a great reminder? All of us are trying to fight over being the lead singer, and sometimes we just need to pick up the tambourine and play that thing with so much joy that it lights up the whole stage. Just a thought to consider. Now, if you're looking, a lot of you are looking for some type of performance enhancement, whether it's GCI or improving your performance or driving your business or becoming better in something. Let me just give you a formula and see if this formula means something to you. If I could screen share for a sec. Let me see if this formula, this is something I worked on. Someone came to me one time and they're like, do you have a formula? Do you have steps that you use with people? And I was like, I don't formally know. I just work with people. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I let my gut kind of guide me to the thing that needs to work on. And then I have lots of tools I can use. So I go to my toolbox and pull out what's needed in the moment to help someone navigate that part. And he said, well, I'd love to work with you. Obviously, I was referred by someone I really trust. I do want to do this work with you, but if I can't see some type of roadmap, I don't feel comfortable doing it. I was like, oh gosh, this is the universe telling me I need to come up with some formula on paper to help people succeed. And so I sat down and I said, okay, if someone was going to achieve just a significant, consistent, world-class result, what would they need to have? And I just started writing it down one by one, and I'll show you what I came up with. And I said, if someone's going to achieve something absolutely amazing, they would probably need all of these pieces. And let's test it. I want you to say, in the area of your life that you're most wanting to achieve a result in, let's just start down here. Number one, do you have a North Star vision in this category of your life? Meaning 10 years out in the future, do you have a bright, shining, compelling vision and goal that's so bright and so exciting that you're so passionate about that even in the darkest hour, it's the bright light in the distance you can see that says, you know what? It's worth going forward, because if I get anywhere close to that vision, it's so worth it that I will not stop. So I'll start there. If you do, in the category of life you want to improve, let's just start with yes or no in the chat box. Do you have a 10-year compelling vision? Crystal clear. How you'll feel, what the number will be, what else will be possible, how proud you feel of yourself. I'm seeing some heck yeses and some nos. So in the area of life that you're working on, my first step for you would be to create a crystal clear 10-year North Star vision. The reason I use the word North Star is if we were out in the middle of the desert in Morocco and we were navigating the darkness of night, we would be using the North Star to continue to guide us in the right direction. Same thing, that's an analogy. When we're going a very long distance and there's going to be some challenging roads in between, we need a big, bright North Star of what's possible to continue to guide us in the right direction so we know where we're going. So this is step one. I saw lots of no's. If you have a no, just write it down. I need a North Star vision. Number two, do you have goals, a roadmap? If that's the North Star, do you have what I call mile markers? If we were going to run a marathon, every mile, there's these flags they put up on the race course to let you know you've gone a mile. You've gone 1 mile and you've got 22 point whatever to go. Then you've gone 2 miles. You've got 21 more to go. You've gone 3 miles. You got 20 to go. They let you know the pace. So if you have a North Star vision Then you need to know, okay, if that's 10 years out, where will I be 5 years out? Where will I be 3 years out? Where will I be 12 months out? Where will I be in the next 6 months if I'm on track for this? And where will I be in the next 30 days if I'm on track with this? You need to have very specific goals that when you do the math adds up to where you want to be long-term. That part's number 2. Number 3, we need habits. We need habits. 1 or 2 things you're going to commit to doing every single day to keep you on track with that long-term vision. I know that if I wake up and I do this habit every day and I just add it up over 10 years, and I'm going to pause real quick. I'm going to bring this down and look at your faces because this is one of my favorite questions. How many of you, when you think of habits, the way you know if you have a good one or not is you think of, if I did this every day for the next 10 years, where would I be? That's a big question, right? Now watch this. Does it make a difference if you say, you know what? I'm going to start working out. I'm going to work out for the next 24 hours, every hour, all 24 hours. I'm going to nonstop. I'm going to the gym. You know what? I'm going to make this happen. 24 hours on the treadmill. Boom. Will that produce the same result as if you went 1 hour every day for the next 24 days? It's 24 hours. It's the same amount of time on the treadmill. How many of you use the first example in business? How many of you, instead of doing 30 minutes every day for the next 48 days, you do 48 hours at once and go, shit, it just didn't work? Now, if someone came to you from the gym and said, I just spent 24 hours on the treadmill, why haven't I lost the 10 pounds? How many of you would laugh and go, it doesn't work that way? But how many of you do that in your business? How many of you take 24 hours to go at your business? The whole time, I win. Where's my GCI? Where's my sales? Where's my listings? Why isn't anyone buying? I've been here for 24 hours straight. What the heck? And no one's come to you and go, doesn't work that way. You need an hour a day every day for the next 10 years and watch what happens. 10 years? Just an hour. Give it an hour a day for 10 years. Now watch this. What do you think would happen to someone's physical health if they spent an hour a day working out for the next 10 years? Would that be a different human? Yes or no? It would change their life. What if you spent an hour a day coming up with ways to tell your spouse how much they mean to you? What might happen to your relationship? 10 years. Just 20 minutes a day. I'm going to lower the standard. 20 minutes a day coming up with ways to surprise your spouse in loving and caring ways for 10 years. What do you think could happen? But once a year, I spend 24 hours on our anniversary telling them how amazing they are. Doesn't work that way. It's little things done consistently over long periods of time that make big results. If you want to write that down, little things done consistently over long periods of time is what make results happen. And so we talk about habits. Do you have the little things dialed in that you can do over long periods of time in order to make results happen? We know where we're going. That's the North Star vision. We have goals. We have mile markers, the pace at which we want to move. Now we have habits. We have habits, little things done consistently every day, no matter what, over long periods of time. My dad said growing up, always, most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in a decade. You're massively underestimating your potential and what you can do in the next 10 years. You just have to commit to doing little things consistently over time and watch what adds up. Don't get on the treadmill for 24 hours and say, I tried and it doesn't work. Do it for 10 years for an hour and watch what happens. Next up, we got to get this moving. I'll go a little quicker to get all this in. Activate. Can you make it easy, fun, and accessible? It's got to be easy. I don't know about you, but if I was going to go on a road trip across the country, are you guys familiar with David Goggins?
Yes.
Yeah, I love David. And I would not choose the David Goggins method of walking barefoot across the country. There's a lot of ways to go from California to New York. The hardest, most difficult, most challenging, my feet are bleeding and I'm peeing blood and I'm coughing up blood. I mean, my gosh, it's nice to know that our human bodies are capable of this. Thank you, David, for proving it to be true. That's not how I want to go across the country. I want easy, fun, and accessible. My gosh, Delta, Southwest, even my Allegiant. I'll go Spirit if I have to, but my gosh, there's a lot better ways to get across the country than walking barefoot with 2 broken feet covered in duct tape while peeing blood on myself. Anyone else agree? Now I like the fact to know that my body is capable of that. Under hard times, I want to know I can do it. I do every now and then want to challenge myself to know how far I can really go, just for mental sake, to go, I am so much more capable than I think. But if you're talking about a 10-year commitment, I don't need to be breaking my feet and walking in duct tape. So, Spirit is almost as bad as walking. maybe. But it's easy, fun, and accessible. And so that same thing, can you make your plan, can you make your habits easy, fun, and accessible? And that's a psychological trick to keep yourself consistent. Can you find your purpose, a reason bigger than yourself to do it? I'll tell you this. Someone asked me a question. They said, when you win, when you achieve your biggest goal, who wins? And they said, if the only person that wins is you, it's probably why you're not winning right now. If the only person who wins when you succeed is you, you're probably not winning. The moment you create a vehicle or an approach that multiple people win, that lots of people benefit when you win, that's when you'll start winning far beyond your wildest dreams. So one question you might ask in your purpose is, who else is going to win when I succeed? And the more you can include in who else will win when you succeed, the faster you will succeed beyond your wildest dreams. Rocket fuel. Can you mentally stack pain if you don't follow through, pleasure when you do? If I don't do this, there's consequences. If I don't do this, I'm going to be frustrated. If I don't do this, it's going to mean ultimate pain for me mentally, emotionally, and physically. And if I do take action, this is ultimate pleasure. This is the ultimate opportunity. It's going to take care of myself, take care of my family. You start stacking every day. A lack of action is pain. Taking action is all the benefits, all the pleasures, all the joys, all the fulfillment, all the opportunities. You psychologically use this trick to drive yourself. Now, I'll tell you, if y'all seen the movie The Fast and the Furious, pain is like nitric oxide, the NOS button. You can go really fast. When they press that little red button, NOS, in their race car, that car just goes. But if you tried to drive a car a long distance on NOS, you'll blow up the engine. Pain is good for potent, short distances. Very, very potent and effective fuel. You need love, joy, fulfillment, passion. You need these for long-lasting fuel. If you want long-lasting fuel, you need to do it for something or someone you love. Something you care about so much more than yourself that it drives you to action each and every day. That's long-term lasting fuel. Pain is short bursts of energy. And so you gotta practice using that. Next up, are you measuring? Do you know what your trending patterns are? Have you gotten 5% better this month or 5% worse this month? Are you getting better or worse, and by how much? Are you tracking and measuring the results? People who are world-class at what they do are obsessed with results. They're obsessed with doing 1% better than the day before. They're obsessed with finding a way to make it just 0.002% of an improvement. Obsessed with measurement. Anyone who doesn't want to be measured doesn't want to be held accountable, even to themselves. I'll say it again. Anyone who doesn't want to be measured doesn't want to be held accountable, even and especially to themselves. They don't want to have to look and say, I missed it again. They've missed it so many times and they've beat themselves up so much in their own heart and their own head that they don't want to have to feel like a failure again, is the word they use. Therefore, they avoid being measured because they don't want to have to look in the mirror and say, damn it, I screwed up again. They don't want to have to feel that pressure. Therefore, they don't want to be measured. You have to break that pattern. You have to be obsessed, excited, passionate, and just hungry to be measured. And in the beginning, for most of us, including me, it sucks. I hate seeing bad numbers. I hate stepping on something and looking at it going, oh, I don't like that number. But sometimes looking at the truth gives us the inspiration to do something about it. Right? Just because you avoid the truth doesn't make it cease to exist. It's still there. You're just avoiding it. And in my life, anytime I've ever avoided something that I know needed to be handled, eventually it just festered up into a volcano and exploded somewhere else in my life. Right? That thought. Environment. Have you set up your environment to win? Now, I don't know about you, but I remember when I was trying to lose a few pounds and I went and opened my cupboard, the ho-hos and the ding-dongs and the Cheetos, that shit doesn't help. You open that cupboard and all the temptation in the world is staring at you in the face. And it's like, that's a bad idea. Temptation's going to win 10 times out of 9. Like, it's just going to win every time. Therefore, if I'm setting up the environment to win, I got to get the temptation away from me. I got to put myself in a place that it's not even within arm's reach. I got to take it and I got to play We Are the Champions as I flush that crap down the toilet and say, never again will you be allowed in my cupboards. Right? You got to. You have to make the environment supportive of what you're trying to do. Someone said, if a flower doesn't grow, we don't get mad at the environment. We change the environment. I'm sorry, we don't get mad at the flower. We change the environment to become a healthy environment that'll cause a flower to grow. If you need to grow as a person, you need to look around in your environment around you and say, hey, have I created an environment that'll help me thrive as a human being? If I haven't, I need to replant myself in an environment that will cause me to thrive as a human being. I think step one is you need to kind of put a cocoon on and do the work so that you flourish. Step two, you need to step right back into the challenging environment, but step back in the environment as the new you with new tools. And if you wanted to write down a hashtag, it would be We All Rise Together. I think self-help and personal development was too focused on an individual, and it caused us to feel lonely, separated, distant, different, the black sheep, the outcast of our families and communities, because we separated ourselves to go do the work and they just don't get it. I said, okay, that's fine for a short period of time. But at some point in time, you have to step back into the community and be the person who says, grab my hand, I'm going to help you climb this mountain. Let's go. And not by what you say to them. If you judge a person, you never be able to help them. Not by you judging them and telling them they're wrong, by you holding their hand and saying, I know, let's go. And just taking their hand and walking them with you. That's it. And they'll say, I don't want to. You go, great, one more step, let's go. And they'll go, but this is stupid. I know, let's go. But it doesn't work. I know, let's go. And you just keep taking them with you until the tide turns and they go with you. But you have to go back and get them. Don't leave your family behind for the sake of success. 33% rule, who you surround yourself with. I think I have 1 minute left. I'm going to do these really fast. 33% rule. You need 33% of your peer group that's going to be 5 steps ahead of you, showing you what works. You need 33% at the exact same stage as you, so you can trade secrets on what's working and what's not. You need 33% that are 5 steps behind you, so you can shout back and say, hey, watch out for that branch before it hits them in the head. You need to have that group stacked. People you learn from, people you live with, people you give to. That's a purposeful built peer group. Next up, course management, optimize. Once you've been doing it for so long, you can get more done with less effort. Pit stops, how far and how fast can you go before you need to pull off and refuel? It would be the stupidest plan in the world to enter us into a F1 race and our strategy is we just won't pit. That's the strategy of how we're going to win. We won't stop the whole race. Every race professional team on earth would tell us that plan is stupid. Our tires are going to burn off, our engine's going to explode. We're going to be sitting on the side of the road with a car on fire watching all the other cars race by and win the race. Why are we trying to do this in business? How far and how fast can you go before you need a pit stop? I'll give you a clue. If you consider yourself to be an Odyssey minivan, you only need a pit stop about once a year. That's how often we go get that oil change, right? Now, if you consider yourself to be an F1 race car, how many times do they do a pit stop during an average race? A race is on one day, and that car pit stops 5, 6, 10, 12 times. The faster and more intense you want to go, the more often you need to pit stop. Does that make sense? So if you just want to go like your average everyday family minivan, take a pit stop once a year. If you want to go like an F1 race car, you need to be pit stopping regularly. Refuel, 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 refuel. The faster you want to go and more intense you want to drive, the more often you need to refuel. Identity. Have you become what you're trying to achieve? It is every part of who you are as a human being. What transforms someone's identity is a visceral physical experience. Someone who is a non-skydiver and someone who is a skydiver. It's not because they thought about it hard enough. It's not because they manifested it or dreamed about it. It's because someone strapped them to another human and shoved their butt right out of that plane, and they went flying and screaming, going, oh my God, for 60 seconds and landed, and their identity completely changed. What changes us is experience. If you want to transform your identity from becoming someone who's never sold $1 billion worth of property to someone who does, you need the experience of doing it. What is the identity you want to become, to be in your life? And what experience do you need to give yourself that'll transform you so that you are the person who does this? That is who you are. Final 3, flow state. Can you get into that place where time disappears, you disappear, and nothing else matters? You blink your eyes and it was the beginning of the day, now it's the end of the day, and wow, you were in the zone the whole time. Mastery. Each time you pull the lever, you get the result. You know, when I pick up the phone and I say these words, I get a listing every time. Mastery. Have you mastered the process? Finally, the true peak is committing to Kanai, constant and never-ending improvement. You become an eternal student of your craft. If someone says, have you mastered this? You say the true level of mastery is a commitment to never-ending learning. That's real mastery. Always hunting to learn a little bit more than what you know to see if you can make it a little bit better than you've ever done. So my question to you, if you took the most important focus in your life and you had all of those pieces in place, how many of you feel like 10 years from now, you'd go, shit, I don't know why I didn't achieve the result? Now I'd ask you, I've yet to meet a person that has a vision, has the goals, has the habits, activates it every day, has a purpose, has the rocket fuel, measures it, sets up the environment to win, has that powerful peer group, optimizes, does more with less, has their daily pit stops, has transformed their identity, lives in the flow state, has truly mastered the process, who's a constant student hunting for more, who just doesn't achieve results. Anyone I've met doing all of these things in any category of their life has absolutely world-class results. They become the best on earth at what they do. And so what you might do is take those categories down on the bottom and say, hey, mental, emotional, physical, financial, business, relationship. You can add family, community, giving back. You can add as many categories as you want. And then you might take each one of these pieces and write out in a piece of paper and say, hey, I'm going to put every one of these pieces in place for each category of my life. And when you're done, you might start achieving results far beyond your wildest dreams. I ran over time. Sorry about that.
I'm going to tell you, like, you know, I'm usually the one that's doing most of the talking, and I'm completely like emotional right now, like overwhelmed because of the way that you've just really made me think. It's I'm never a loss for words, and I find myself like so moved by this message. When you opened up with the example of the orchestra, somebody told me this year that you're not always going to find balance, but you will find a rhythm. And I believe that to be so true, that people are constantly finding balance. Well, what's going to give and what's going to give? And so you're constantly playing this teeter-totter game. And so finding that rhythm and making it into like a music analogy, I really connected with that. But we talked about this at the beginning of the year in our business plan, and we did VTO, we did EOS. And looking at our life in the next, 5 years, we broke it down. But to take it out even 10 years of like, that's the vision I'm working for. That's me being retired at the age of 50. Like, those are the things that I'm already focused on. And I love this, to be able to look at this and have a formula. So this is something we're going to go back to. This is something we're going to practice on as a team and really make sure that we are not working for today. We're working for the Griselda of 10 years from now and what that life is going to look like. So Jairek, I really connected with your message today. If we can get one person just to say a quick takeaway before I close out the room. Anybody, Maria, Cynthia, someone want to say one key takeaway before we head out today? Let's do two then. Let's do Jess and let's do Maria. Let's go there, and then we're going to close out this room. So Maria, Jess.
I think for me, gosh, in this season of my life, the biggest takeaway, it's truly not necessarily finding balance, because there is no balance, is making all the pieces every day work. And it's hard. It's really hard. And Jairek, I appreciate you and your time that you gave us today. It has me emotional because I keep thinking, how can all of my pieces work together?
Powerful, Maria. Powerful. Looking forward to seeing you later. Jess, let's have you close us out. We're 7 minutes over, but Jess, go ahead and hit us with it. Takeaways from today.
Oh my God, I am extremely emotional as well. I think one of the things, and this is just my interpretation, is our purpose. If it doesn't include helping other people, how can it be purpose driven? For us to live our life and we deserve all of this great stuff. And what does it mean when it's just for yourself? Whew, that brought tears to my eyes, because we are community. We take care of each other. We do shit to make an impact in our world. That was beautiful.
I love it, Jess. Wonderful takeaway. Ask yourself, who will be impacted by the result of my success? Who will be impacted by the result of my success? So you guys, we could go on and on and on with this conversation, but Jairek, I just want to say thank you for spending this time with us. Thank you for being a guest. I know it was only 30 minutes, you guys, but it felt super, super impactful. So Jairek, I want to thank you for being a guest at Keep It Moving Group Coaching. You've inspired me to take things to the next level in my own career. And I just appreciate you. So Jairek, any parting words before you head out?
I just want to say what's up to Cortez. I saw his hand raised.
Cortez, did you have a quick takeaway really quick, bro, before we close out?
Man, I just wanted to say that the session was fire, and that 33 thing, it's so much stuff to use. I don't even know, but thank you, man. I appreciate it. It was fire.
I love it. Jairek, thank you. You guys, as always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and go out there and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace.